Keeping up your physical health in esports is actually more critical than I think a lot of people think. So, for context, I've lost about, I think it's like 18 pounds in the past year and maybe a half. So I've gone through a pretty big transformation, I guess, kind of significant. But, I've been to this weight before. I just was lazy. And also, I went from call it high platinum all the way to masters in the same exact time. So I don't think there's a coincidence in terms of the level of performance that I was able to gain through actually working out. But that whole story is hugely extended, so I won't get into that. But I think there's huge extra benefits that you can actually gain from working out. For instance, the gray matter within your brain. So essentially your brain is made up of gray matter, which is just the volume of your brain. You know how there's like neurons within your brain, which creates different pathways to connect different parts of the areas of your brain, and how, like, for instance, certain neurons, I guess, will lead you to be more easy to do different things, like addiction, for instance, create different neural pathways to make the addiction stronger. Well, gray matter itself is just the volume of your brain. So you can imagine the more gray matter that you have, the better that it is. It's just, you just have more fucking brain. And also the density of your gray matter is very important too. And working out has actually been shown to increase your gray matter within your brain. So you literally are getting smarter just by working out. And this is pretty evident throughout just all different kinds of studies and stuff. And you'll notice that a lot of other disciplines that you would think wouldn't necessarily benefit from working out do, like F1 drivers, for instance. F1 drivers work out like a motherfucker. And it's not just because, they need to lose the extra pound or two to lighten up their F1 car, right? Because they're driving the fucking car. So the less that they can weigh, the better it is, which is also why short kings have an advantage within motorsports. But F1 drivers, they do this just to stay super sharp. And I think within esports, that's very similar. In fact, we, within esports need to be super sharp. We need to actually have fast cognition and reaction speed in order to play these video games to an optimal level. And I think this just increases your cognition and your ability to react very fast within video games itself. So that's benefit number one, is gray matter. Benefit number two is just respect. So if you don't know, if you are just bigger and you're more bulky and you're more fit, you just generally garner more respect. Now, it's not necessarily within like the female world this is applicable, but within the male world it certainly is. Because underlying our, call it, internal structure, I guess, or interactions that we have with other men is that there's always the threat of violence. Always. Now, you might just be chilling with your buddies or whatnot and just having a good laugh or whatever. But if shit goes down and if something catastrophic happens, there needs to be the threat of violence. And if you're very fucking scrawny or you're super fat or whatever, the threat of violence is way less, obviously. So having the ability to defend yourself or to defend other people, more importantly, can garner just massive amounts of respect. And even this is applicable within, call it, your job or your occupation. Just being more fit has the ability to garner more respect because when you do work out, that shows that you have discipline, and everyone respects discipline. Now, the third thing that working out gives you is obviously confidence, and the respect and confidence thing are largely associated with each other. But it just gives you confidence in yourself, just knowing that, first of all, you could beat someone else's ass, most likely. But second of all, that you have the confidence because you have the discipline that has backed you up for doing something that's actually really fucking hard to do. A lot of people don't work out, at least within America. So a lot of people don't work out. So that can just give you a huge confidence boost as far as just your morale in and of itself. Now, the fourth thing, and I think it's the least, I guess, beneficial, but it is still a benefit, is the vanity aspect, right? You just look better. You really do. And the unfortunate thing, but also one of the best things about being a guy, is the fact that one of the few ways that you can change how good looking you are is just by working out. It's just by getting muscle and just bulking up, you know? Like, that's the best way to get good looking as a guy, because you certainly can't change your facial structure. You don't wear makeup as a guy, you know, over in North America, let's call it. So the only real way that you can change how good looking you are, other than your hair, which I don't have, is to bulk up and to actually start exercising. So if that's the one thing that you want, is just to start looking better, and for the vanity aspect, this is huge, because yes, this is one of the only ways that you can look good as a guy. So start fucking lifting weights. Now, as far as it pertains to esports specifically, I think of working out as preventative maintenance for your body, right? Like, think of a car. You have to change the oil every 3,000 miles, right? I don't give a fuck what any of the OEM manufacturers say that you need to change your oil every 10,000 miles. Fuck them. You need to change your oil every 3,000 miles in your car. You need to change your brake pads, you know, every, call it, I don't know, 30,000 miles, or might be 20,000 miles. So yeah, you need to do preventative maintenance on your car, and therefore you also need to do it on your body as well too. It's a fucking machine, right? You're a machine. So with that said, within esports, your back, your neck, etc., all of your different joints and things, if these start to hurt because you're inactive, and I guarantee they will start to hurt, especially with age, and if you don't work out and you don't have, you know, movement of freedom of movement, those joints will start to hurt. And that will distract you from your gaming performance. No matter what you think, no matter your pain tolerance, it will always be in the back of your mind subconsciously that, my neck hurts if I tilt it this way or this way, so I'm not going to do that as much. But maybe, you know, you looking slightly from left to right is optimal for you, you know, to look at the screen. Or maybe your wrists, if you hate going to the right because it kind of gives you a little bit of pain, that's going to be in your head subconsciously. So you want to get rid of all of that. And that's what working out does. It's preventative maintenance. It allows you to, you know, call it use it or lose it, right? If you don't use your muscles, you lose your muscles. Now, as far as the goals that you should go into for, call it working out, you should have a goal. You should say, I want to lose 20 pounds within, call it 2 years. I want to lose 20 pounds in 2 years. So 10 pounds in 1 year. And if I don't meet that, then obviously I got to lose more pounds in the second year. But I want to lose 20 pounds in 2 years. You should have a goal, and it should be slightly unrealistic. It should be slightly above what you think that you can do, because that gives you the ability to push yourself, to go towards that, to start shooting for something. You don't want to say, I want to lose 5 pounds in 1 year. Like, nah, go shoot for the fucking moon, man. And if you fall short, you land among the stars, as they call it, right? So have a goal that's very important, because that gives you a focus to shoot for. If you don't have a goal, then you're just going to meander, and you aren't going to actually know what you're supposed to do or know what you're supposed to shoot for. And you're going to give yourself a little bit of fucking leeway, and you're going to say, I don't need to work out this day. I could skip this day. No, fuck you. Go work out. You got weight to lose, and you have a timeline to do it in. Now, as far as the routine itself, and call it discipline, hold yourself to a routine. Hold yourself and say, I'm going to work out 3 times a week, or 4 times a week. I go a little bit more towards the extreme and I do 4 times a week. And I hold myself to that and I say, I don't fucking care if I'm tired, if I had a long day at work or whatnot. I'm going to go to the fucking gym or I'm going to just work out. And I don't care what happened that day. I don't even care if you're hungover, man. You committed to this. You committed to this workout regimen. You need to go and do this shit. And you'll actually find when you have that mentality and, you know, you go to the gym or whatnot, or you start your workout regimen that day, is that you'll find you'll go into that and you'll say, like, I don't really want to fucking do this. And you'll start working out and you'll find that you can actually complete all of your sets that you originally, you know, usually do on a good day. And it's those bad days that set the pace for you to actually start working out. And it gives you that self-confidence and boost to say, oh, hey, remember that one time when I was like massively hungover, but I did all of my sets? Like, fuck yeah. Now, when I kind of don't feel like it and maybe I had 6 hours of sleep, it's nothing. It's nothing. I already went through the really fucking harsh day and I got through that. So it sticks within your memory and you're actually able to do this shit way more often and create that discipline. Now, as far as realistic measurements are concerned, or just the amount of weight that you're going to lose or amount of muscle that you're going to gain, unfortunately, genetics play a large part into all of this shit. Some people are just built differently. Some people can lose weight a lot. You know, I, for instance, was like at my peak, I was like, I think the lowest that I ever got was 2.3% body fat. I was just super fucking lean and super ripped. And I could bench like 200 pounds weighing like 130 pounds. But not everyone has crazy genetics. You know, not everyone has super good genetics. Some people actually gain weight a lot and, you know, they just gain a lot of fat. So just remember that when you're starting to work out. And if you're a bigger, heavier set guy, start to look maybe towards if you have brothers, start to look towards your brothers or your father for advice on how your body actually works, how much weight that you can lose, how much weight that they lost, you know, within a certain amount of time or whatnot. And maybe if they are into working out, get some tips from them. What helps their body, what helped them lose a lot of weight. That's something very, very critical that you can rely on your family members on. And I suggest that you do so. And I suggest that you cut the noise of like all these other YouTubers saying you should be able to lose, 20 pounds within 1 year or whatnot. Like, no, everybody's built differently. Your genetics are different. So that's not going to be necessarily applicable to your situation. So don't get discouraged if people, outside say, Instagram people or YouTubers say, you should be able to lose this much amount of weight or gain this much amount of muscle and take this creatine and shit like that. Like maybe that's just not how your body works. So highly consider that. Now, as far as working out or the act of working out and your location is concerned, you don't actually need a gym membership. I know everyone says go to the gym, right? Like physically go to the gym to lose weight. You don't actually need to do that. So I work out in my apartment and I have 2 25-pound dumbbells. That's it. And it has interchangeable weight, etc. So I could theoretically buy more weight if I wanted to. But I have 2 25-pound dumbbells, and I use those strictly for working out, and that's it. And I do calisthenics, right? I do push-ups, sit-ups, etc., squats. But I don't need anything else. And I've lost a ton of weight. So it's a complete myth that you need to go to the gym. Now, that is to be said that gym equipment is very efficient. So yes, I could be more efficient with my time and use different machines like a leg press or, the squat bar or, bench press or whatever. Like, yeah, I could use all of that equipment and without a doubt, it would help me. But I'm just saying that you don't actually need a gym membership. And then on top of that, if you're just kind of shy or you are anxious or whatnot and you don't want to go to the gym, just know that there is an option to buy your own fucking weights. It's not that expensive. In fact, you could get a decent amount of, dumbbells for like less than $100. You could get a little bit of different sizes or, interchangeable weights on the actual bar. It's very easy and it doesn't require a whole lot to get into. So don't get discouraged by that. Now, as far as diet is concerned, I'm not going to go super hardcore into diet because there are a million other YouTubers that know diet way more than me. I don't pretend to know a whole lot about diet, but I will break it down into 3 different aspects that I think there are massive gains to be had. One is drinks. Don't drink your calories. That's something to live by. So that's soda. You could cut out a lot of soda. Cut out juices. Juices have a ton of sugar in it. Cut out those things, just those things. High fructose corn syrup. Cut that out too. And that will help you lose weight a fuck ton. If you're someone that loves soda, if you're able to cut that out, I guarantee you're going to lose weight, and you're going to lose weight fucking fast. So if you're able to do that, do it. Now, me personally, I drink a lot of sparkling water. There's a lot of good flavored sparkling waters that are just 0 calories, or they're like 20 calories and they have a little bit of fruit juice in them. If you want to go that route, you can. But I do just straight sparkling water, 0 sugar. It's flavored, and there's a whole bunch of different flavors. I don't know if you know what LaCroix is, the LACROX. That brand has a bunch of different little flavorings and stuff that are pretty good. I'm drinking like this. There's a couple other different companies that do this, but I drink like this French vanilla sparkling water, or yuzu citrus, or cucumber melon. Like, they're all super fucking good. And once you start cutting out, call it this craving for sugar, you'll actually find that it's quite easy to just not drink anything that's calorie dense. Now, the second thing is also pertains to this, which is sugar. If you can cut out sugar, so cut out sweets, cakes, cookies, high fructose drinks, that will help massively. I call that level 2. If you can cut out sugar just massively on, all the things that you eat and drink, you'll cut weight like a motherfucker, because most of the calories that Americans, consume is going to be from sugar. And there's a lot of different foods that you would think that don't have sugar in it have sugar. And a lot of it is through highly processed foods. So if you're able to cook for yourself and actually just get the raw ingredients to create whatever dishes that you want, you can avoid those sugars. That's the easiest way to actually avoid sugars, just by cooking with raw ingredients yourself. Number 3, and this is probably the hardest one, is snacking. I call that level 3. Avoid snacking. So chips, cookies, crackers, all that shit. Just do not snack. Intentionally go in and say, I'm going to have a meal. I'm going to have a meal for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. These are the things that I'm going to eat. I'm going to eat as much as I want during that meal. So give you that. But it's going to be a meal, right? So none of that bullshit snacking. And you'll find that you're able to cut out a fuck ton of calories, because what often happens is when you're snacking, you lose track of what you're actually eating, and you lose track of the calories that you're consuming. So when you have an actual meal, you're able to look at it and say, oh, okay, it's probably about 600 calories here, 500 calories here, 800 calories here if you want a burger or whatever. And I'm not saying that, these meals themselves need to be like super diety and you need to eat salads or whatnot. No, have whatever the fuck that you want. Just cut out snacking. And I guarantee you're going to lose a fuck ton of weight just by that. The idea is you go to the degree that you wish. There's something to be said, obviously with enjoying food and life and whatnot. So I'm not saying that you need to have a diet strictly of like what you're eating. But if you cut out these things, these 3 different levels, choose the level that you want to do. Choose all 3 if you want to do them. But you're going to lose weight. Now, as far as fasting and carbs and stuff, I don't really know a whole lot about that or whatnot. So go to somebody else for that. But I just know I eat carbs. I'm Asian. I can't not eat carbs, right? Because of rice. So I said, fuck all that. I'm going to eat carbs, but I'm going to cut out all these other things. So maybe if you're able to cut out carbs, then you can go a little bit less extreme as far as like the drinks or the sugar or the snacking or whatnot. So pick and choose. Now, the last part of this I want to address is the idea of that maybe exercising is going to get in the way of your performance as far as picking up another game or two of solo queue as a professional esports player. Now, I would say, to be honest, if you're a rookie, yes, it is actually going to get in the way of your performance initially. I think you would benefit more from playing that extra game or two of solo queue because you just have way more to gain, right? You're at 85% of how good you are. And to get that extra 5% is actually relatively easy for you as a rookie. But to go extra, that 90% to call it 99% is very difficult. And it would benefit you more, call it after your rookie year, to start exercising. I think there are huge gains to be had as far as exercising. I mean, just like I said before with the gray matter thing, it just increases your cognition. Like I said, I went from fucking the top of platinum all the way to masters after I started working out and having a strict workout regimen. I saw my cognition increase and I am way fucking sharper than I used to be. And so it should be said that maybe you would get better practice if you actually worked out, because now you're thinking consciously about the game. You're thinking consciously about the actions that you're doing within the game, and you just have more clarity. And same thing with the interactions with your teammates. Maybe you have more clarity within VOD review. Maybe you get a little bit more respect from your teammates, right? As far as because of your physical prowess, call it, and your physical presence. So I think there are massive benefits as far as training your physical health in esports and diet is concerned. And I just think a lot of people are leaving gains on the table, and it will actually help your esports career more than you actually initially think.